Hello, everybody! Oh, welcome to the Wednesday stream. Welcome to Slay the Spire. If some of you guys were around earlier, hopefully you got a kick out of watching A Kiss for Luck play some Factorio. I'm so happy to see her playing that. It's excellent. And after the stream, Briarstone will be playing some more Isaac on his stream, so I'll definitely be watching that because it's nice, because I can't play Isaac. I just don't have... I don't have the fingers for it. I can't reflex. But Slay the Spire, on the other hand, is a sort of, roguelite-y, sort of dungeon crawl, interesting challenges, lots of items, except it's turn-based instead of twitchy. So it's much, much, much more my speed. It also happens to be shockingly similar to a game that I made for Ludum Dare a couple of years ago called Dr. Deckenstein. Basically exactly the same idea, except my version was in 48 hours. And this is what happens when you spend a couple of years actually putting effort into a game and designing something that's really beautiful and quite nice. It's still technically in early access, although it's pretty solid as is. And I'm hoping it's the sort of thing where this game gets supported for like years to come, with extra characters and cards and new enemies and bosses and things like that, because I'd love to play this thing forever, I think. So, woot woot woot. Helps when you unmute. Oh, you were muted, I see. I'm like, I don't think I'm muted. You guys can hear me, right? Hopefully. Yeah, and what is up with that whale? I don't understand it. Like, is there a piece of lore that I missed? I mean, I don't think there's much in the way of lore to Slay the Spire. It's just you're going in and climbing a spire and killing some stuff. But, like, the weird undead whale at the start of the game that gives you, like, an extra card or whatever. Anywho. Let's get started. So I have a Let's Try video on the UpTubs that has me playing as the Ironclad, one of the two available characters. So I will be playing as the Silent today, who I find a little trickier to get going. I think it is helping that I'm starting to get some unlocks now. I still do have 2 unlocks left to go on the Silent, but got a good number of things. I have won as the Silent before, but only once, and I would like to, I figured it'd be nice to do it on stream, get a little bit more feedback about what people think are interesting ways to sort of design your character as the Silent. Of course, there's going to be a lot of luck in determining what kind of cards we get, so you can't go in necessarily with a specific strategy in mind. You're going to have to see what cards you get early and then try to build around that. Is there a bowl of petunias beside the whale? Oh, if there is, I guess that would be a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. That would be interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get started as a Silent. The third class isn't available yet in early access, so that's the one thing so far that has an early access feel to it. I know that they've been rebalancing the cards pretty regularly between early access releases as well, so I think they're trying to figure out what's what there. Silence, you can go Shiver, Poison, Build. Yeah, that definitely seems like a couple of primary ways to go about things. So, here's the weird 3-eyed ghost whale? If someone's got an explanation for this, I'm really curious. I mean, he's got 3 blowholes too, or is this like the moon with craters? What is this? Assuming, I think that the prerequisite is that you at least reached a boss on your previous run. Assuming you've done that, at the start of your run, you'll get to choose one of 4 things over here to kickstart you off. The last one is always swapping your starting relic for a random boss relic, which is the Ironclad. I don't think I'd ever do. Sometimes I debate if it might be a decent idea on the Silent over here, but I don't think we'll do that. The other choices get randomized and switched around. The first 2 usually have no cost. The third one has a cost but is stronger. So, lose 50% of your current HP to transform 2 cards. I don't think that's worthwhile. Transforming cards is very good, but it's not a whale, it's a mouse in disguise. The whale has 6 eyes. I guess it probably does have 3 more eyes on the other side. I guess that makes sense. We could start with more gold so that we could buy something at the shop over here. I think just upgrading a card is probably going to be the way to go over here. Of the possible starting choices we got, I like the one where you get to start with a common relic, but I think what we're going to do is upgrade the Neutralize over here. The extra damage isn't a huge deal, but the extra turn of weak actually preserves a lot of hit points from you. And with Neutralize, you're going to be... Every time it's in your hand, you're going to use it. Every single time. I think it's better than upgrading Survivor and certainly upgrading one of the primary cards. So if you haven't seen this before, your starting deck is going to have 5 defense, 5 strikes. This is the same on both classes as far as I know, plus 2 extra cards that are class specific. And as the Silent, you always start with the Survivor and Neutralize over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade Neutralize. I think I'm fairly pleased with that. So, we do have to plan our route over here to the boss. It's the boss of the first act. You defeat 3 bosses to win the game. And there's a lot of things that you'll encounter along the way. Now, fighting the elites over here are quite good because they always drop a relic for you. But they can be quite tough. So the question is, what if we took this route over here? If we started here, went right to the shop, we won't have a ton of money, although we'd have enough to at least remove a card from our deck, and we might get lucky enough to be able to buy a good card instead. Then go question mark, normal fight, and assuming, at this point, we'll only have 2 normal fights. We're not going to have a ton of cards in our deck, but we'll probably be okay to take on this elite. And then a normal fight, and then rest? A little risky, maybe. You can click the torches in the background. Ha! You know, I've never tried interacting with the screen. That's funny. So, anyway, we'll click here. Would have liked to see Quill try Ascension mode. Wait, what's Ascension mode? Is that a different option at the main menu? I haven't unlocked everything yet, so maybe it's not available. Anyway, here's our first fight. We got a couple of slimes over here, one with fewer hit points, one with more hit points. And you can see their intention for their turn above their head. So they're both planning on attacking me this turn over here. Now, ideally, I'd like to preserve as many hit points as possible, because you only get to recover hit points if you rest at a camp. And ideally, instead of resting at a camp, I would prefer to smith and upgrade some more cards. So hit point preservation is pretty important. They're going to be hitting me for 12 in this round. I can do it a little less if I neutralize over here. It's gonna, so cost 0. I have 3 energy right now. Cost me 0 to neutralize. It'll deal 4 damage and apply 2 weak. That's 2 stacks of weak. That's 2 turns of weak. And weak causes someone to do 25% less damage. So now all of a sudden I could just defend twice and take no damage over here. Alternatively, I could just hit a bunch. Especially since, well, if I hit this slime 3 times, I would kill it and it wouldn't attack me. I think it's probably worth just doing a double defend here. I'm going to try to preserve hit points as much as possible. I will target the smaller slime over here and try to take it out as early as possible. Ascension mode is unlocked when you beat all 3 final bosses. Oh yeah, there's another boss or something that I haven't seen yet. Because I've only won the one time with the silent. There's, who did I see? I can't remember who I fought. We'll have to check the thing. So annoyingly, they're attacking me both again. I think I'm just going to use Survivor to block 8, discarding a defend. Oh yeah, that's going to be fine because I can kill this thing. I was doing the thing that I told myself I wouldn't do. I wouldn't get too busy talking on Twitch that I would forget to check for lethal. Always check for lethal first. So, that's great. We were able to kill 1 source of damage. We'll do that. I think with Corrosive Spit, I was going to say he'll put a wound in my deck. The wound is a status. It only stays until the end of combat, but it's a dead card for when you pick it up. He's very kindly not attacking me this turn, so I'm just going to go and whack him a whole bunch. The Silence Relic is the built-in one. At the start of each combat, draw 2 additional cards. Which is okay. But, so can I click these torches too? Oh my god, that's cool. But a lot of times, especially early on, the 2 additional cards don't really, you're not going to be able to spam that much. I got really unlucky here drawing both wounds over here. So that's some dead cards in my hand. Well, I guess I'm just going to defend twice and strike once. I guess I could have just striked. Again, check for lethal. God damn it. The turn played itself, but the fact that I didn't look is kind of poor. Okay, so after every fight, you get to choose a card to add to your deck. Malaise is actually quite interesting because losing strength lowers the amount of damage that an enemy does for the rest of combat, basically. So you can permanently weaken someone. That being said, it eats all your remaining energy. So, I mean, to use it, you really want to, like, burn all your energy on this one. And I think it's not a great pick. It's a defensive one, but meh. Backflip is quite good. It's just a strictly better block. I mean, 5 block, draw 2 cards when you play it. All-out attack is also exceptionally good, though. 10 damage to all enemies is a lot. You do draw 1 less card next turn, but it's a lot of fracking damage. It's so early, we don't have, like, this is our first card, so we don't really have any kind of tech or anything going on. I think I'm going to go for all-out attack here, because it is a huge amount of burst damage. I think it's going to be fine, despite the disadvantage. So yeah, I'm going to take the right branch here. We'll hit the shop. We'll probably remove a card from our deck, and then we'll grab a couple of question marks over here on our way to another regular fight, and then probably the elite. Boom, 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 boom. Backflip gets better if you have like some sort of mechanic for getting more energy or something like that, so that you can actually take advantage of the extra cards. So in the shop, there's always 5 of your class cards available, 2 of these colorless cards available, 3 relics, 3 potions, as well as the card removal service, which gets more expensive every time you use it. There are some good cards here. Terror's actually exceptionally good. When someone's vulnerable, they take 50% more damage from attacks. This applies 99 turns worth of vulnerable, so they're vulnerable for the rest of the game. Having a Terror in your deck is actually really good for some of the big boss fights. Slice is on sale, so it's actually cheaper. It costs no energy to use and deals 5 damage. It's not bad. Bane is a stupendous amount of damage if you have the ability to poison people, which we don't have yet. I'm actually tempted to just remove a card, like right off at the start, rather than buy one of these. They're all really good moves. It wouldn't be bad to have bought one of these relics as well, but they're all too expensive. In fact, the Ancient Tea set is pretty stupendous. Thinning the deck is good. So what I think I'm going to do, since we did pick up another attack, I'll just get rid of one of the strikes over here and thin that out. I think it's going to be okay. Piercing Wail sounds good, and it's not bad. It is only removes their strength for 1 turn, but it can, especially if there's a big group of people all attacking you, it can really cut down the amount of damage you'll take, especially if they're attacking you with like an attack that strikes multiple times. It'll really crush this. I still have enough cash for a slice, and it would increase my damage output a bit, but I don't think it's good enough to necessarily purchase. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there. Let's go and get the question mark. So the question marks can be literally anything. It can be a fight, it could be a chest, it could be a shop, although it can also be an event. We got the event over here. We're going to get a choice. Remove a card from our deck, transform a card in our deck, upgrade a card in our deck. I think I'm going to go for transform over here. Transform will just transform a card. So it's the same as I get a random card and remove an old one. It's effectively what transform does. And it's a lot of fun. So we're going to transform, and it's really early on, so whatever we get is probably going to help dictate what our deck becomes. I'm going to get rid of one of the defense here. And we get acrobatics. Play it, draw 3 cards, discard a card. So it still doesn't really give us much in the way of a strategy. It's not bad. Upgrading it, it draws 4 cards. It does synergize with some of the discard abilities that you can use. All right, this guy over here mostly just hits you pretty hard for most of the game. I mean, we'll just neutralize him and defend, so we don't take any damage, and then strike a couple of times. I mean, it could have acrobatics, but it takes an energy. That's the one thing. If you could upgrade acrobatics to be free, oh my god, it'd be the greatest card in the game. But it always costs 1 energy. So you're going to be striking for 9. Again, I prefer not to take damage. I think, though, it's going to be okay. I'm going to Survivor to block 8, so we'll take 1 damage over here, and I'll all-out attack and strike, which... If we get the perfect draw, we can kill him next turn with 3 strikes and the, what is it called, neutralize? Seems pretty unlikely. And yeah, I'm drawing 1 less card as well, so we did get to neutralize, at least, to slow down his attack. So he's got 17 left. I can do 16. Womp womp. Well, I guess we're just going to play out everything. He's dead next turn. So we're going to take another 4 damage here for a total of 5 lost in this fight. Which, I mean, isn't terrible, but... Okay. Thank God we drew an attack. So, reward here. We get gold. We get a potion. I'm pretty bad about remembering to use the potions properly, but hopefully we'll stick to it. This potion, I can consume it to gain 2 strength for the rest of the combat. Potions are 1 shot, though. That's interesting. I mean, Catalyst, if you've got a bunch of poison stuff going on, is great, but we literally don't have a poison card yet. Outmaneuver does give you a lot of energy for the next turn, but... I don't have anything, like, I don't have any card draw or anything yet to make Outmaneuver, like, good. I don't have any synergy. I mean, I can start collecting it. I can pick up Outmaneuver and go looking for cards that have extra card draws or something like that, or hope we get relics with card draws. It's kind of a little wonky to just take it in a vacuum. I think if you upgrade it, it gets 3 energy. I'm also wondering about just a second all-out attack. It does get... It's a really weird deck at this point. I think we'll get our outmaneuver and we'll try to combo it with some more card draws. If we can get some backflips or something like that. Or, quick strike? Quick attack? Something like that. We'll see what we can do. But right now, it's kind of a dead card in our hand. Alright, we got a Jawworm over here. He is just mostly fairly tough on hit points and attacks fairly hard. He does always open an attack. We'll clearly be neutralizing him over here. And then he's going to attack for 8, so we can just go ahead and Survivor, sacrificing and defend for 8 armor over there. So, again, I could outmaneuver here for more energy next turn, assuming we have enough card draw to make it worthwhile, or I could just strike him twice. That's the thing, without, like I don't know if outmaneuver is going to be better than just striking him twice. We've only got 6 cards in our deck, I suppose, and everything costs energy. You know what? And there's an acrobatics in there. I forgot we had acrobatics. You know what? Outmaneuver is going to be great, and we'll strike there. It's going to be really good if we draw acrobatics. We will have a ton of energy. I forgot we had acrobatics. I'm going to try to save the strength potion for the elite fight that comes up next. We didn't draw acrobatics. That being said, we have... Okay, well, we don't need the second defend, but well, that's going to be the way that it's going to be. So, we'll just strike, defend, which is all we need. We may as well use the last one. Because you discard your hand every turn anyway. At the end of your turn, you discard all your cards. At the start of your turn, you draw 5, except we're going to draw 1 less because of the all-out attack. There's our acrobatics, but we don't have extra energy. He did armor up, so he's got 15 hit points. If we acrobatics and draw a strike, we can kill him. There it is. So we can just drop that. Done. Okay. Prepared is sort of a trap card, I think. I think it's quite good if you've got a lot of discard tech going on in your deck. So there's a bunch of cards that the Silent can get where you can't play it normally, but if this card gets discarded, something happens. The thing is, Prepared is a net -1 card. Because you play it, so it costs itself as a card, then you draw a card and discard a card. So you end up with 1 fewer card in your hand. It does cycle things more, and again, if you've got discard tech, it combos nicely. Cloak and Dagger is very nice, because it's a strictly better block that also puts a Shiv in your hand. Shiv is a card that costs 0 and does 4 damage. And Sucker Punch over here is actually not bad either, because it does more damage than the strike and applies weak. I think when it gets upgraded, it might add 2 weak. I don't remember over here. I like Poison Focus, but I think that we might be going for some sort of, like, draw lots of cards and Shiv kind of thing. I know Cloak and Dagger is nice because it does add a lot of defense early on as well. We haven't picked up anything to really combo into any kind of poison. The Shiv will work fairly nice with the strength as well. I mean, Sucker Punch will as well for the encounter. I think they're both pretty fine. We'll go for Cloak and Dagger here. And we're going to go for the Elite. We've got plenty of hit points. And see how it goes. Sucker Punch, just to have it had more damage, might be worth it. Yeah, I think they're both good. I don't think either one is clearly wrong. One might end up comboing slightly better than the other. Alright, so we're up against Lagavulin, and of course the Lagavulin 16 is my favorite whiskey. He's kind of funny. He starts asleep. He only wakes up if you do damage to him, and he does start with 8 armor. He actually gets 8 armor every turn with this Metallicized, which means you can technically spend some time prepping rather than attacking him the first round. That being said, I think we are just going to open for a ton of that damage here. I'm going to go and drink my strike potion, so we'll get +2 to all of our attacks. We're not getting acrobatics here. We're just going to use all-out attack, strike, to do maximum damage. So that's 12. He is going to be stunned for the first round as well. So what we're really hoping for is to just draw another big attack round over here, although most of our attack cards we just drew. So he's stunned, he didn't do anything. He is going to start, he's going to hit me for 18 here. I did draw 1 less card, that's true. I can neutralize him to cut down the amount of damage he does. We do have to do another fight. Again, I still kind of want to minimize how much damage I take. Well, hold on, I got 3 energy. I forgot that neutralize is free. I do that a lot. I'm like, I start worrying about what cards I'm going to play, and I'm like, no, Quill, you can just play every goddamn card in your hand. Shut up. So he's going to hit me for a bunch. He's going to hit me for 13 on this one. So we have both outmaneuver and acrobatics in our hand at the same time, which is kind of frustrating. Well, we're clearly going to cloak and dagger for the defense, and then we could also throw in another defense, so we'll only take 2 damage. And then what I think I'll do is I'll outmaneuver. I don't think I'm going to play acrobatics here. I could draw other stuff, but it costs 1 of my energy to do so. So cloak and dagger, defend, and then we'll outmaneuver so we have more energy next turn. And I'll just go ahead and shiv him over here. This is a nice update to Dr. Deckenstein. When did you find the time to work on it? Thanks, Deride. I know. We'll have to play Dr. Deckenstein at the end so that people know what the hell I'm talking about. He intends to inflict a powerful negative effect on you. I don't remember what he does here. Does he weaken me? Does it make me vulnerable? Something like that. Anyway, he's not hitting me this turn. I get the extra energy, so I'm clearly going to just play out everything. Although, 3 of the cards are defensive, which is stupid and sucky right now, because that doesn't help me at all. But there, I got tons of armor. You reduce the strength. Oh, yeah. -1 strength, -1 dex, right? So we'll play out our whole hand. And just barely not lethal him. We're going to take 13. Luckily, he is weakened, so we take a little bit less damage. And we should kill him... Well, no, we need a pretty good draw to kill him next round. Although if we have an all-out attack, we do have an all-out attack and the neutralize. So, yeah. Boom. So a fair amount of damage. So what do we get here? Oh, Mercury Hourglass. At the start of your turn, deal 3 damage to all enemies. This is a really potent relic. It's a really potent relic. I mean, you know, it doesn't give us more card draws or more energy, but just, like, free damage every turn. We got a regen potion, which is quite nice. Okay. We could start stacking some poison stuff. It's not, you know, we don't have to commit to anything yet. Everything we've got still works with poison. There's no reason it can't. It's still very early on. Poison Stab's a very good attack. 5 damage and gives you 3 stacks of poison. The way poison works in this game is quite good. The amount of poison stacks you have at the start of your turn, you take that much damage, you lose 1 stack. So with 3 stacks of poison, someone will take 3, then 2, then 1. If we pile on more poison, they take even more every turn. I think we're going to get 1 terror, though. I don't usually go for 2 terrors, but having at least 1 is really good. And then it's out of the way. So we'll go and kill this guy. Okay, it's a good thing we've got all-out attack, except we didn't start with it. If we had drawn all-out attack, we would have wiped all these guys out in the first turn because of Mercury Hourglass here. That's really annoying. Odds are very good that we will draw it next turn, especially since we'll either get that or probably acrobatics. We only have 6 damage. The guy with 6 hit points isn't actually attacking me this turn, which is annoying. They're going to hit me for 18. I can defend for exactly 18. Which I think I'm going to do. First of all, the Mercury Hourglass will hit them more, and we can probably just kill them next turn. Block. Block. Survivor. So, we'll just sit here, take nothing. This guy will weaken me or something. Weaken would be bad. Hopefully, well, we'll kill him anyway, it doesn't matter. Hopefully he'll just frail us or something. Yeah, so they take another 3. And there's our all-out attack. Yeah, we did get weakened, so we do less damage, but it doesn't matter. Hooray! Yeah, and you're right. Cloak and Dagger would be better. Wasn't thinking about it. Speaking of Cloak and Dagger, we got another one. Here's an example of one of those unplayable cards, but if you discard it, deal 7 damage to a random enemy. So this would work both with Survivor and with Acrobatics. And really isn't bad. Flechettes, I'm not too keen on. It's very, very... You gotta... I mean, you could stack a bunch of defensive spells plus Flechettes, but it would be weird. We're not really... I don't know if we really consider having enough discard to do discard tech. I think just a second Cloak and Dagger is going to be fine. And we'll probably go for a Shivy-type build at this point. So, I think we have to rest. Because we don't have another rest coming up for a long time, and we'd probably rather hit this Elite, and we will hit him at full hit points. So, I mean, we can go here, Elite, normal fight, we can get here, and then question marks. Okay, so really all we're doing is 1 Elite fight and 1 normal fight. Could we get through that without healing? We do have a regen potion, which is 15 more hit points. I think we might be able to get away without resting here. It's early enough in the run. I'm gonna take the gamble. If we lose it, it sucks, but there you go. Upgraded Cloak and Daggers is amazing because it gives you 2 shivs per use. And I think that's really going to be the way that we go. Because, I mean, Survivor, more block, a little more block here, a little bit more attack there. I mean, because upgrading Cloak and Dagger is a +4 attack upgrade. So this is also +4 attack, and it's to everyone. Okay, that might change things then. Terror can become free, which is nice. It's very nice, but I don't think it's critical. Flechettes are great with card retain relic powers. That's true, too. So, actually, I might upgrade the all-out attack. So, outmaneuver just gives you 1 extra energy the next turn. 1 extra card over there. I think I like that. I mean, the difference being that Cloak and Dagger Gives you extra shivs, which gain extra things from strength or whatever. We don't have anything like that. So we're going to go and confirm this. And yes, I have to remember to Cloak and Dagger is, like, strictly better than the block in every way. So we got a chest here. We're going to get a relic out of this. Got Ginger, so we can no longer become weakened, which actually, I think if we're going for a Shiv-type build, it's actually really good. Being weakened means you deal 25% less damage. It doesn't matter if, like, you're doing a poison stack deck, but for this, it's going to be quite nice. All right, let's go for the Elite. It's probably, I was going to say, probably the trio of these guys. Which, interesting. Okay, so they have two things they can do. Either they can hit you pretty goddamn hard, or they'll do this, and what they're going to do is they're going to add days statuses to your deck. 2 per. And they are, so they're cards that are just dead in your hand. They don't do anything. They are ethereal, though, so they do go away if they're in your hand at the end of the turn. So I'm actually fairly pleased with this because they're not starting with a bunch of damage as an opener. I will still go ahead and drink this because this fight will likely last 5 rounds. So we're going to activate the regeneration. So we've got the auto attack, which is going to be good. We've got probably the terror. We don't need to defend. I think we'll outmaneuver for the next turn. I think we're going to go terror, all out attack, outmaneuver. Because we won't have the energy to use acrobatic stuff. So, you have the lowest hit points. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Hold on. So, all out attack is going to do 21, leaving you with 14... plus 3 damage per turn. So, either way, you die in a couple of hits. I don't think it makes much of a difference one way or the other. Yeah, I remember the artifact. That's what I'm trying to count here. Oh! You're right! Terror won't work because they have the artifact. That's what you mean. You don't mean my relic. You mean the artifact ability, which protects them from debuffs. That's true. But I'm still not going to acrobatics. What can I get on acrobatics? I suppose I could get a neutralize for a little bit of extra damage. That would also soak this. I'm actually still wondering about using the terror now to just knock off the debuff now. Because obviously the defense are no good. The acrobatics doesn't help me this turn much regardless. Acrobatics, try to find the weak card. It doesn't, yes, it doesn't apply 99 applications. It's 1 application of 99 stacks. So it doesn't work. But I'm going to go ahead and use it. Because we can weaken him later. And that'll help save our butts probably from some extra damage. So that's going to be okay. We'll auto attack. I guess if we're all out attacking, we really don't need the energy from the outmaneuver as much. But whatever. We can still potentially unload some more. So we'll do this. So we're going to get a whole bunch of dazes added in here. But I won't get them until we empty your deck anyway. So we got tons of energy, one less thing, but that's okay. So they're all attacking here. So that's fine. Cloak and Dagger. So Survivor does require that you discard a card. Well, it doesn't require that you discard a card. As an effect, it discards a card, which means as long as you play Survivor last, you're fine. We can't quite kill this guy. I'm going to go ahead and keep focusing on him. Because if we can kill him with a Shiv next turn, because he's going to take damage from the Mercury Hourglass. So we'll Survivor. And we're still going to take some damage, but that's okay. We're still healing, so it's alright. What's the hat? What hat is relevant for the game? If I had like a little like skeleton skull hat, I'd be wearing that. Man, oh man, but I don't. Man, this Mercury Hourglass is going to be great. Only one's attacking me this turn, and I can kill him. So, yeah. So we're not going to Cloak and Dagger, because the other attacks all do slightly more damage here. And we don't need the defense. I can't kill him with the neutralize. So we'll do that. I'll be 1 short of killing this guy, but he's going to die on the start of my next turn, so I guess that'll have to be okay. Boom. So you're going to add more dazed. And I'm doing a reshuffle right now, so there's a chance I'll get a whole bunch of dazed in my hands. And I will. So, double defend, strike once, end. So the dazes go away because they're ethereal. Or ethereal, if you prefer to pronounce it that way. Both, it's all valid. And there we go. Whack. That's pretty good. Hey, bronze scales. Whenever you take damage, deal 3 damage back. We actually have a fair amount of passive damage generation here, which normally you get in sort of a poison build. Eviscerate costs 1 less for each card discarded this turn. I don't think we're really going to be able to take advantage of Eviscerate here. It does deal 18 damage and more if you've got bonus strength. You can't activate Eviscerate with like a bullet time or something if you've got it. I think we might just skip all these. There's something to be said about still grabbing Deadly Poison, because it's still going to apply 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 damage. Now, I made a mistake the other day. There's a trick that you can use to quickly sum a series like this. It's something like you take the first number and the last number. So for here, it'd be 4 plus 1, and you multiply it by half of the range. So 4 plus 1 times 2. So if you do like 1 to 10, it's 10 plus 1 is 11, times 5 is 55. It's something like that. There's some easy way to count on the total number of damage here. X plus 1 times X divided by 2. Thank you, guys. Okay, it's funny, everyone's spamming a slightly different version of the formula, but yeah.